Hi, we're going to go through all the materials and tools that you need so that you know exactly what to buy. Okay, a few of the must-haves on your material list. One is the glass, of course. You'll need some glass, and we're going to go into this a little bit more extensively in another section to explain types of glass, but you will have to buy some glass. You also want to buy extra glass. As a beginner, you're going to have things break not exactly in the way you planned, so you want to buy probably about 50 to 60% more glass than what you need for your pattern because of the breakage. Anything that is not destroyed accidentally, you will certainly be able to use again, so it's a good idea to buy extra glass anyway. Also, you will need a cutter. Now, you don't have to get anything fancy. You can get the bare bones cutter for your first time. This one is a tube cutter. It's easy because you can put the oil right inside, and you will need some cutting oil, by the way. These are carbide tips. They have a little knob at the end, which is handy for knocking into the glass. These are definitely critical. You will need another liquid called Gelflux. This is actually, you can get it in a paste form or you can get it in a pure liquid form. I like the Gelflux because it stays right where I want it. Then you'll need a couple of other hand tools. These are lead snips. They snip the lead at a pretty sharp little snip, so you don't have a whole lot of error there. And then these are glass grozers. They have a curved bottom blade, and they're for nibbling off bits of glass. You will need a soldering iron and a little stand for it. Some soldering irons come with their own coil stands. Those are a little bit more expensive. I'm still using the same kind of soldering iron I got when I was just starting out, and as these tips go bad, you can replace these tips. Also, the glass grinder is pretty important. Now, you can use a sort of a glass grinding stone, and those are a lot more work. Certainly, you're putting a lot of muscle into the grinding step. If you're using a glass grinder, and this one only cost about $165, you can get your grinding done a lot faster and your work will end up much more accurate. It makes making stained glass windows much more fun to be able to kind of move through every step pretty easily. Another thing that you absolutely must have is lead, and I've got two strips here to show you. One of them is in the shape of an H, and that means you have channels on each side to fit the glass into. And the other is in the shape of a U. And the U-shaped came only has one side to fit the glass pieces into, and it's just flat on the other side. This is for your exterior frame of your stained glass, and this is for the interior. Okay, let's go through some other materials and supplies. Some of these hopefully you have around the house. One is your safety glasses, your earplugs, and your dustpan and your broom. Why do I list a dustpan and broom with the safety supplies? It's because you do definitely have to clean up. Pretty much after every step, you're going to have some bits of glass here and there, especially when you're cutting and grinding. So definitely have some safety supplies. You are also going to need a hammer and a small block of wood, and that is going to help us tap the glass into the lead channels. Small paintbrush is great to have. Some bottle caps, extra bottle caps, collect some of those for putting the fluids into. And then a project board. So project board has a 90-degree angle. Here's my big one, and then over here you can see a little bit of a smaller one. This is not absolutely imperative though. You could actually put something together that's just a piece of wood and a clamped down frame, like let's say a picture frame that you have hacksawed apart. More on that later. Okay, some chain, some horseshoe nails. Horseshoe nails are flat and rectangular, pointy. These help keep your project in place when we're building it. These are lead shears. These are important but not absolutely critical. You can get along without it. But what you need to do is actually compensate for the lead when you cut out your pattern. And what this does is it's kind of cool. It takes a little bite out as it cuts. So as you can see, there's about just less than a millimeter missing, and the scissors have taken that out. So these are called lead shears. And again, not necessarily critical, but important. You can use a regular pair of scissors, you just have to compensate and cut twice. Okay, what else do I have? I have a black patina. This is an acid that causes a real nice uniform stain across the lead when you're done. Rubber cement is the best glue, I think, for gluing down pattern pieces on glass. And then we've got putty materials. So I've got mineral oil and linseed oil, and I've got a powder that makes a putty, and then a cleaner to clean the product off at the end. I've got my solder. This is non-lead solder and leaded solder. You can use either one. This is a natural bristle brush. And then I've got a ruler there and an extra pair of pliers. Now this is interesting. This is called glass runners. And this is something that basically helps you cut your glass. It helps run the score all the way through the glass, and I'll be demonstrating that for you. It's kind of like it takes your glass and it just breaks it like a break over a knee kind of thing, and it helps keep your hands a little safer, and it helps you with those really big cuts. Last couple of things. You might want to have some extra clear glass, like window glass, something simple and easy to cut and break. That's great for practicing on. Also, you might end up using some clear glass in a project because it makes a great background and it helps other colors kind of pop out. The last thing you might want to have is some loops, a little bit of wire or something like that to make a loop for your project, and some chain.